Okay, good evening everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk TEFL. And I have no camera running. Where is my camera? Uh-oh, it appears as though my camera's not working. Okay, there we go. We're back online. Hello everyone. Welcome to Friday's Let's Talk TEFL. Okay, this evening we have a couple of questions, and actually a few questions that I would like to address. Then we'll answer your questions. If anybody wants to talk to me, you can, if you're logged into your Gmail account, you can use the chat feature down below in on the right hand side there. So feel free to chat or leave a note. Okay, so our first question for this evening comes from Gina, and she asks, what topics that are best to talk about if your student only likes to have free conversation? It depends on the age of the student, largely, and the chemistry between the teacher and the student. So if we're going to talk about what topics to discuss with your student, remembering that even if it's free conversation, you want to be getting them to use as much language as you possibly can. So with that in mind, even in a free conversation class, you need to have a clear objective for your class, and a short lesson plan before you go in. Now, a lesson plan doesn't need to be some great long thing that you've spent hours creating for your lesson. It should be a short little piece of notes, maybe one page, that gives you an idea of what your objective for the lesson is going to be, even in a free talking class, what subjects you're going to use within your free talking class, and what your student is expected to gain from your free talking class. So the subjects will vary depending on the age of the student. If you've got a younger student, say between 10 and 15, you might want to talk about things that are interesting in their life. What are they doing? You might want to talk about tech or games or movies or music. If you've got older students in a free conversation class, then the topics that you discuss should largely be focused on the nature of the class when they signed up or when they started working with you. So if they're doing a free conversation class focused on business English, then you want to talk about business related subjects so that they're using that target language. If it's a general English conversation class, then talk about whatever's convenient for the student to talk about. So focus on their interests, whether it's books, music, TV, something, and you want to be focused on what their interests are when you're doing the free conversation. Again, looking and keeping in mind you're looking at extending the vocabulary that they're using, extending the range of language, improving pronunciations so that they're understandable. And the topic really doesn't matter if they're having a free conversation class. Okay, Amy Lynn says, I'm a newer teacher. I just started in January, and I find myself not using props as much as some other people do. I pretty much use a reward and a whiteboard. I also bring out a puppet or flashcards for when it's necessary. And she works with younger children. Are there any other minimalists out there when it comes to using props? Well, the props you use will depend largely on the nature and the type of class that you're teaching. So if you're working with very young learners or very, very low level learners, then you want to, oh, it looks like I've lost my cam. My goodness. If you're looking at very low level learners, then you want to do something, use props that will help to make what they're learning understandable to them. They have to understand the message to be able to learn from it. So you're using props that are highly visual in nature. So puppets are nice for a conversation. If they're not comfortable talking with teacher, they might be comfortable talking to a puppet that you provide the voice for, or a toy or two toys. Otherwise, you want to use props that are highly visual and focus on building the vocabulary that the student is using. The more props you use, the more understandable things can become. Next question. Aubrey says, chemistry is important with all interactions. However, after 5 months with a regular student, the chemistry between us is just not there, despite his best efforts. And due to a lack of chemistry and desperate attempts at different teaching styles, different teaching methods and approaches, the parents are not satisfied. What can I do? I've exhausted everything. And he's asking, should he just drop the student? Or can he drop the student without getting into trouble from his service provider, from the language center that he's working with? Well, you probably can't drop the student unilaterally. You can request the parents ask to drop you, but that may not necessarily look good for you. Sometimes there's just no chemistry with a child. They just don't respond to you for whatever reason. It may not have anything to do with your teaching style or abilities, but just the nature of the child themselves. So if you've used props, you've used different teaching methods, you've used TPR, you've used songs, you've tried everything you could to be interactive, then it may simply just be the chemistry, and there might not be anything you can do other than just work your way through the lessons to the end of the course book and then let them go. But you do want to try and make sure that you've exhausted everything else that you can find or everything else that you can do while you're trying to get on board with your program. Okay, the next thing I wanted to look at is look at a bunch of different providers for teaching online, and talk a little bit about them and some of the ones that are more common. UN Hoop is the first one on my list, and they teach English to both Filipino and Japanese students. They offer training and some bonuses, but they only pay 110 pesos per hour. Learn Talk is based in Manila. They provide language training to individuals, corporations, and institutions and other language schools. They're currently focused on students in Latin America, and teachers can work as much or as little as they like. Learn Talk does hire non-native speakers, so Filipinos and other NNES teachers, and they have 3 different teaching categories. They've got language tutors, experienced instructors, and professional teachers. Language tutors get paid between $4 and $5 per hour, and you do need a C1 level of English proficiency to be accepted with them. For those that have done a TOEIC test, that's about a 700 to 750 on the TOEIC test, which is the cheapest English proficiency test. Okay, language tutors get paid, okay, we've done that one. Experienced tutors make between $8 and $10 per hour, and C2 proficiency, fluent English is needed, and 2 years of teaching experience, although that doesn't necessarily have to be online teaching. It does need to be 2 years of teaching experience. Professional teachers can make up to $15 per hour, and that includes Filipinos, can make up to $15 per hour. You do, however, need a CELTA or a TEFL certificate, C2 fluent English proficiency, and 4 years of experience teaching EFL. So if you're fluent in English and you have the CELTA or the TEFL course and the 4 years of experience, it's probably the best paying option for Filipino teachers. Again, that was Learn Talk, LEARNTALK. And it's learntalk.org if you're looking for the website. Okay, BizMates is based in the Philippines, and they teach business English to Japanese students. They pay between $3 and $4.60 per hour. That's 140, 220 pesos per hour, which means you can earn, if you really put in the time, you can earn up to about 50 or 60,000 pesos per month. But that's an incredible amount of time. Most people burn out long before that level. So realistically, you're probably looking at about 540 US dollars per month, or about 25 to 27,000 pesos, working for BizMates. At their top levels, you can make more, but that's highly unlikely. And that would mean working up to 50 hours. That could be as many as 130-minute classes or 80 40-minute classes per week, which is an incredibly heavy course load. Skybell is a Filipino company that teaches Korean students. They pay, again, they only pay between 3 and 4 US dollars per hour. And their web page is really hard to navigate, even if you use Google Translate. It's www.skybell.co.kr. However, if you can read Hangul, it might be a decent option. Lingual is another company from the Philippines, and they're not worried about whether you're Filipino or non-Filipino. Classes are 25 minutes, and they pay about 150, between 100 and 150 pesos per class, per 25-minute class. Bibo is based in the Philippines. Bibo, B-I-B-O, global, global.com. Pays between $1.40 and 3 US dollars per 25-minute lesson. Their website says you can earn up to $1,500 per month. Don't believe it. Again, you know, at $3 per lesson, you're earning about 150 per hour, 150 pesos per hour. So you're probably going to peak out at about 18,000 pesos per month. Okay, some of the other create a profile companies where you can charge what you want. And if you're fluent, it might be a decent option. Include Polylingual, and they're based out of Albania. iTalki, they're based out of China. And again, here you go in, you set up your profile, you set your own hourly rate, and then you go looking for clients. So you're not limited by company set rates, but the companies don't feed you the clients either. You compete with other teachers for clients on the website. Verbling, V-E-R-B-L-I-N-G, based out of the USA, similar. AdSoc, ACADSOC, A-C-A-D-S-O-C. They're currently recruiting all over the Philippine web pages right now. And again, they're a create a profile type company where you create your profile, set your rates, and then look for clients. So you can find your clients and probably make more money if you're good. If you're a marginal teacher, you probably would make far less. Palfish is based out of China, same thing, and that's ipalfish.com, ipalfish.com. And then there's Preply, preply.com, and they're based out of Ukraine, Russia. Okay, some of the other companies, and there are lots of them, that hire teachers who are not native speakers, which means they're open to Filipinos, includes companies like Vivaling, based out of Singapore. They do, however, require 2 years of experience working with children and a certificate or a degree in teaching languages. So you'll need a TEFL certificate and or a degree, or both. You start at a low rate, and after lots of classes and paying for training, you increase your salaries. It's possible to earn a fairly good amount of money from them, but it takes a long time to get up to their higher levels, and their bonus structure is a little strange. First Future hires both native and non-native English speakers. They teach adults and children. They prefer a degree, but it's not an absolute necessity. They want teachers who have at least 1 year of experience and or a TEFL certificate. You must also have an IELTS or a TOEFL or a TOEIC exam if you're a Filipino. You could make as much as $12 US per hour if you're at C2 levels of proficiency on your English test, and you've got your degree or TEFL certificate and some experience. Panda ABC and Teach Future, they hire Filipino teachers, and they teach 25-minute classes to groups of 4 students. They require at least 7.5 hours per week during peak times in Beijing. Peak times being Monday to Sunday, 6 till 10 in the evening, or weekends weekend in the morning between 9 and 11 a.m. Beijing time. They want teachers with a bachelor's degree, a TEFL certificate, and at least 1 year of teaching experience. O Teacher is based in Iran, and they teach many languages, including English, to Iranians. Students can see the teacher's schedules and choose when they want to have their classes. The pay is set by the company based on the teacher's qualifications. A language teaching certificate is preferred but not necessary, and they use Zoom, not Skype, to give their classes, and they pay by PayPal. So you need to install Zoom on your laptop, and you need to have PayPal linked to a bank account in the Philippines so that you can actually get paid. Cuckoo Speak is, and I actually had an interview with this company, and they underwhelmed me a lot, but it is legitimate. They have been doing improvements, and they've increased their pay brackets, and it is a fairly good option for teachers living in Asia, because their schedules match our times, so it's not too bad. You don't have to get up and go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. They're looking for teachers with a university degree and a TEFL certificate and at least 1 year of teaching experience. For non-native teachers, their peak salary brackets are about $12 US per hour, and there are bonuses. You would have to send your resume to HR at Cuckoo Speak to begin the application process. And I'll put all of these links down in the comments below so that you can come back in about an hour after the video is done, and you can check out the links or go to the web pages and have a look for yourself. 321 English, based in South Africa. They do want teachers with a TEFL certificate and experience. Most of the students are from China. And they don't usually teach business English. It's usually basic English. And they pay about $12 per hour. So for Filipinos, it's probably one of the better paying options. But again, it'll be fairly difficult to get into unless your English is really, really good. Ginseng English is based in Boston, and they hire the best candidates, so Filipinos are welcome, providing you're fluent in English. Master's degrees are looked on favorably if you've actually completed your master's degree. They teach both general and business English, so it's an option if you've got higher levels of qualifications, and they pay pretty well. Topica is a company based in Vietnam. They also hire Filipinos. Their classes are 45 minutes long, and the students are university students and professionals wanting to work on conversational English. Topica provides all the materials and curriculum, and they pay between $8 and $16 per hour. Their website is goodairlanguage.com/Topica, Topica. Again, I'll have the link down below so that you can look them up. You can also look at careers.topica.asia to link to them as well. Tutors Supply at tutorsupply.net is focused on teaching Chinese students. They pay well depending on your education and experience. If you have qualified teacher status, you've passed the lead exam, you can earn even more. And they have a nice bonus plan as well. Tutoring 360 is a new company that has Korean students. They're looking for both native and non-native teachers. And your pay will vary depending on your English fluency level. A TEFL certificate is not required, but they would like teachers to have some teaching experience. The lowest levels are about $4 per hour, and their peak is at about $14 per hour. However, I've never known a Filipino teacher working for them that was earning more than about $6 or $8 per hour. I've already mentioned ACADSOC earlier, ACADSOC, and they're looking at teachers with a BA and a TEFL certificate. They offer base salary with bonuses, but I think the salary's still a little bit low. Hi Tutor is based in Taiwan, and they look at a lot of options. The pay varies a lot depending on a number of factors, so you might want to have a look at them or pass them by. That's up to you. ABC 360 is a new company currently hiring. They want full-time teachers to work between 4 and 10. Oh no, it's Eastern Standard Time. That's between 4 and 10 Chinese time, China time, Manila time, Monday to Sunday. They pay between $4 and $14 an hour. So if you've got the experience and qualifications, it might be worth looking into. Best Teacher has an interesting method. They pay you for replying to student messages, editing conversation, and doing voice recordings. They also pay for Skype lessons at 340 yen, Japanese yen, per 25-minute class, 50 yen for doing recordings, and 10 yen for replying to messages and editing conversations, as in messenger conversations. USA Sishu doesn't really have a very good reputation, so be wary. They teach Chinese primary school children, and they pay between 4 and 15 US dollars per hour. I'll leave the link down below if you want to look into them. But again, their reputation hasn't been very good, so be careful with them. Okay, Nice Talk is an app, is a phone app that allows Chinese students to reach English speakers. Their salary is $10 US dollars per hour with a $10 sign-up bonus. They also have a referral bonus system. So if you're working on 3G, 4G, it might be worth looking into these guys. www.nicetalk.com and have a look, a little bit better look at it. Okay, Kuku Speak, K-U-K-U-S-P-E-A-K, is another newer company out there. They're a little underwhelming, but they're growing and they're a legitimate company, and it might be a good option for newer teachers. They pay about $4 to $10 an hour. QQ ABC is based in Hong Kong. They pay up to $14 an hour. I've never known a Filipino to be paid that much. They say they pay for your training, but it seems like some teachers don't get paid for their training. Again, you'd want to look and talk to them about it. 51 Talk is another company coming out of China, and the material is provided. Their maximum salary is 35,000 pesos per month, but pay depends on experience and other factors, so the chances of actually getting 35,000 per month is not very good. You're probably likely going to be earning about half that, somewhere between 15 and 17 or 18,000 pesos per month. It's not the best paying out there. Talk 915 is a new company. Oh, sorry, they only want native speakers. Okay, Hello Kid is a Chinese company that employs both native speakers and non-native speakers, Filipino teachers, and everybody gets paid the same. Their base rate is 15 US dollars per hour. They do require a C2 level of fluency, so you've got to be really good at English, and a fairly Americanized accent. They typically teach 30-minute classes Monday to Friday from 6 till 9 p.m. Beijing time, and from 3 till 9 p.m. on the weekends. So 6, 12, 15, 27 hours per week is your maximum work time with Hello Kid. English Dom offers all types of EFL classes, and they pay teachers about 10 US dollars per hour. Okay, that where are we here? If you speak French and English, both, then One-to-One Progress is a company based in France, and they teach mostly business English to students in France. They're looking for bilingual French-English teachers, and they pay up to 15 euros per hour um, if you're a bilingual teacher, French English. Fluent Bee is a company based in Poland. They only teach group classes and they pay 10 US dollars per hour teaching small groups. English Everywhere is another Japanese company allowing students to pick their teachers. They still require you to apply through the company though. They pay 800 yen per 30-minute class for the first 10 classes. After that, they pay you 900 yen per 30-minute class. 900 yen is about 450 pesos per 30-minute class. So it's really good pay if you can get in with them. Again, that was English Everywhere. And I don't have the link handy. I'll have to get it. eHello is based in Nanjing. They teach one-to-one classes to Chinese children, and they pay between $4 and $10 per hour. Okay, the Online Teacher is a new company that matches online ESL companies to employees and vice versa. You create a profile on the website. They then work with EFL companies to match teachers to the company. Teachers can set their own salary brackets and the companies they want to work with. So again, it's another one of those set your own profile, set your own rate type of program. Wonder Kids is a new company out there. They've got about 40 teachers so far. They require 1 year of teaching experience, and Filipinos are welcome to apply. All of the students are Chinese between the ages of 5 and 15. They're paying up to $15 per hour for individuals and up to $20 per hour for group classes. I expect they'll probably want suitably qualified individuals who are also fluent in English and have a fairly Americanized accent to work with them. English Online TV is another Spanish company. They hire non-native English speakers to teach English. I got that information from an acquaintance. I don't know a lot about them, so you'd have to Google and hunt around. And that was English Online TV. Okay, that pretty much exhausts the list of sites for teaching English. And it looks like we've lost the live stream. So I'm not sure where we hung. Okay, it looks like my OBS studio is hanging here on the live stream, or perhaps YouTube.